Dark Crisis issue 3, or if you prefer, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths issue 3. Uh, Joshua Wilson writing with Daniel Sampier on the art. So obviously the Titans are reeling from the big attack.
Yep.
Beast Boy's not looking so hot.
No.
To put it mildly, the trauma of what he went through might have caused some trouble. Honestly, the first page of this was giving me Doomsday Clock vibes, and I think it was intentional because they went for the 9-panel grid. The narration as we're seeing people protest. It was hard not to think of Doomsday Clock a little bit. But yeah, so the Titans are all kind of upset, and obviously there's some other characters there. Dick's there, Babs is there, Stefan and Cass are there, along with the remaining Titans. It's setting up like, okay, this other Justice League is formed, and they're feeling kind of weird about it because it's Black Adam who's leading this team, and we see him try to train the other heroes, but it's not really going very well. I mean, he basically abandons them within a couple of pages of this comic.
Yeah, he's. It's almost like the totalitarian leader of a country isn't a great mentor, right? Like, yeah, because they are trying. You see like Aqualad and Supergirl and Dr. Light. Harley's in space with Killer Frost for fun, but like they're doing their best, and he just, it's still not enough because he still wants the lethal option, right? And that's what he tells them. None of this is going to resolve until you can do what you're not supposed to.
At least a pretty heated exchange between, because he's got Count Vertigo at the throat, and he wants to kill him. And John steps in, fires up his eyes and is like, stop. But it's a really good panel, actually. The expression and the anger in his face and all that. But Yara ends up helping, and it's actually a really nice touch when the others leave because they all want to go back and check on their families and their home lives and whatever. The three that are left on the stairs are John, Damien, and Yara, which very notably is a young Trinity.
Yeah.
It's the Superman, the Batman, the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So...
it's so good, and I like the whole Yara stuff where she was like, she wants to help, but she didn't think joining a Justice League would be the way to help until she saw everything unfolding, and then she's kind of like, well, they do need my help. The line that got me here was Damian saying that like Black Adam's right. It was just the way that he was going about it that Damian kind of disagreed with, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's Damian for you. Right?
Yeah. And I assume the way this scene ended also made Daddy Magic's nipples hard.
Oh, you have no idea. So I took to Twitter after I had read this, and I had said, like, for all of his flaws lately with John's, right? John still got me into comics, and it was moments like this to where, Williamson has learned how to write for the splash page, and so you get to, the sorry to interrupt. But if there's no Justice League and you turn the page and it's the Society in all their glory and you're looking up at them so they seem even bigger. Such a good moment.
You got Alan and his kids, you got Fate, you got Terrific, you got Wildcat, Our Man,
the Hawks.
Midnight, all the people you expect. Obviously Jay's not there because he's away with the other Flashes right now.
Right.
But you got the rest of the squad.
Yeah, we have 2 Wildcats, which I think is always cool when they do the legacy thing like that with the 2 kinds on one.
Jakeem's there as well, yeah.
Yeah, Jakeem's hanging out. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good. I think if you care about DC lore and you care about, if you cared about the JSA coming back, this is probably the first time it's actually felt like they're the JSA. Obviously, they were in. The minis that Williamson did sort of building up to this, but this kind of felt like, oh no, they're together, they're a team, and they're here to offer their services as such.
Yep.
So that's pretty exciting. Then we go to Deathstroke, who is dealing with
straight up not having a good time. Deathstroke's dealing with some things.
I mean, he's got the infinite darkness or whatever it is in his head, talking to him, spurring him on, but he thinks he can sort of do what he wants, in spite of it. And you have Ravager. Rose comes in and she wants to talk to him, and basically try to figure out why he's doing this. And obviously we know why he's doing it because he's infected with the darkness.
Right,
but
the darkness.
He's going all nuts, and he actually ends up releasing the darkness out of his mouth. Then it sort of goes to the other villains that he's with in the room. It seems like Rose is just reacting to it rather than being hit by it herself.
Yeah,
but important to note.
Yeah, no, I do like the when Rose shows up and because she was there for the whole Respawn thing, and she thinks this is tied to that because she doesn't realize he's been infected. But the way that they kept his eyes in shadow, I was like, is he gonna be missing both eyes? Like, is this one of those things where the darkness has caused him mad? But no. But I wasn't also expecting him to puke it all up either. So either way, it was horrific.
Yeah, and basically what he's trying to do on behalf of the darkness is to start a crisis. That's kind of what his goal is. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But it's interesting to see him tied into all this stuff. Then we cut to the Green Lanterns. Obviously, we saw Hal and Co break out Kyle where he was at the end of last issue. Here they've went to Sector 666, and there's a giant Black Lantern which is formed here. And Hal, Joe, and Kyle are going to check it out. Go inside, and we get this really fun kind of Black Lantern style page where we see like them all looking sort of evil and dead as they're falling through. It's just a trippy page. Yeah,
except for Hal, who's doing the parallax greed thing.
With all the rings,
but with the Black Lantern rings. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're all Black Lantern rings on his hand, as opposed to one of every.
The yellows.
Yeah. So when they fall to wherever they're in here, this is where Pariah's hiding.
Yep.
And he's got all these little worlds, these little universes, and they've got logos on them. So one's clearly the planet, the world that he's got Superman trapped in. One's where the Flash is, Wonder Woman, so on. Right. And this basically, we find out that he obviously wants to rebuild the multiverse, and even though the darkness wants him to do one thing, he thinks he can subdue it and control it and just do what he wants. So that's what he's actually trying to do. He's not trying to do what the darkness wants. But the Green Lanterns try to fight him, and effectively Hal gets dusted just like the Justice League did. He gets the same treatment where he vaporizes and then reforms, and he's inside presumably a new world. And it's this Green Lantern world where there's like a blind Green Lantern in front of him. There's like a ninja looking one, and it's Sector John Stewart. Which
it's a little bit weird.
Well, I wonder if he's put him in the same like fake universe as John's in, because we've not seen John in a universe yet.
No. So what happened was that Hal runs and touches the Green Lantern orb.
Yes.
And at the Earth, and that's when Pariah freaks out. He's like, "Don't touch my world." And so it's almost like Pariah is trying to use each of these basically by giving the Justice League what they want. He's creating these infinite worlds, and so it's almost like if he gets pissed that if Hal goes up there, it's gonna awaken John or pull him out.
Yeah, but he seems to go in, right? Because
he goes into there. But I also like the homage to the original Crisis, where when he gets dusted, it looks like when the Flash died in that original Crisis. And then he reforms to where he's at in this gigantic green world where everything looks like a construct.
Yeah, all the buildings are all like constructs. The helipad that he's on is a construct. Everything's a construct. Yeah. So that's your cliffhanger there. But the end of the issue, and what's interesting about this is it really feels like an event in that each thing only gets one scene to kind of advance. But the ending is Black Adam arriving somewhere, and he's like, "Look, I tried to fix this with the young heroes. I thought I could train them, but they're too tied to hope. They're too ingrained in hope. So it's time for Doom." And the final page is, again, much like the JSA page, we get the splash page of the Legion of Doom, which now includes Punchline, who's rising in the ranks as far as DC villains goes. They're really trying to make her one of the big guys, aren't they?
What happened to Joker in the Joker book? Is he just on vacation still?
I never finished that, did I?
Okay. Yeah, so that's why I'm assuming they're there. But also, curiously, is Vandal Savage, who the last time I saw him, he was in that group post, what was the last big event? Where was it Death Metal?
Death Metal, yeah.
Where it was him and Terrific and Talia, and there was all this uneasy alliance to make sure stuff like this can't happen. It seems like he's bailed on that and is now joining Luthor's Legion of Doom again, which also now includes the Rogues, Golden Glider, and Scarecrow.
Yeah.
So, which again is a nice tie where I feel like Williamson, however this story came together, Williamson has been paying attention to the DC universe as it goes, and the fact that he's tying in Snyder's era of the Justice versus Doom, and that whole idea.
And even just this Scarecrow is, it's the modern Scarecrow from Tynion's Batman run.
From Tynion's run, yeah.
So
with the whole Fear State ideal. And
it does say, it says next time, Deathstroke versus Legion of Doom, so it is quite interesting. This is not a new concept, obviously many events have done this, but the idea that the team of villains are going to try and take on the main threat, and presumably fail, because it's only going to be issue 4 out of 7, so we'll see how it goes, but I thought this was a very solid event issue comic, and what I mean by that is that I don't think it's ever going to win any awards, I don't think it's ever going to feel special, but all the character interactions felt good, and they had these big splash page moments they built up to, both the JSA and the Legion of Doom at the end. I thought everything advanced something in a meaningful way, and I'm liking all the various threads that it's doing. As a piece of pulpy event comic, I had a good time with the issue.
Yeah, and it has these nice big moments too. Like, it's where the last one, like, I feel like, if I remember right, Connor was saying that it wasn't moving fast enough, right? They were getting too many of these character moments. I feel like those character moments really led to these big, like the Justice Society showing up, and Black Adam seeking out the Legion of Doom. Like, that, those are nice. It's a nice balance, right? Like, the light side gets the society, the dark side gets not the dark side, but you know what I mean, gets the Legion of Doom, and it all balances itself out very, very well. So yeah, no, I agree. It's really good. It's not like amazing outside of that Justice Society page, right? I totally nerded out. Yeah,
it's just solid, I think, is how I'd put it. And the art's reasonably good. I think
it's Sam Pierre drawing everybody, which I'm never gonna be mad at.
I think the splash pages look good. I think the moment where John stands up to Black Adam, I think that looks really good, and you see the anger on his face. There's moments like that. Even the opening where the Titans are all kind of like, they're all really kind of subdued, and there's a real kind of like, sadness in the air. Like that stuff is it all captured fairly well. So I think it's a really solid event issue of a comic book. It's just never, I think, going to be like ranking high up in single issues of a year or anything like that. But so I'm enjoying it. I'm sure Connor hated it.
Yeah.
All right, what are you rating Dark Crisis issue 3?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll agree with a straight 8. Like, I had a good time.